Let's see what we get. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome everybody that is watching, whether you're on the live or on the replay. Welcome. As you can see from this title, we are tackling one of the newer phenomenons in the world of see what we get. AI. All right, I can definitely say that we are live. We're going to talk about Clawbot, Moltbot, whatever you want to call it. It's the thing that you've seen on your Twitter feeds, on your LinkedIn feeds, probably for the last 2 weeks now. And it's something that I feel like is not going to go away. So I wanted to delve into my little WhatsApp group that we created a couple of years ago now. It is a group that was created just to get anybody who wants to geek out on AI. And I've been looking and I've been reading on who has been talking about this phenomenon that is Clawbot. And the two guests that I have with me are the two people that I know have been using it the most out of my little network. So we've got Jason Reese, Dr. Rachel Gainsborough below me. Welcome. Hello, both. So I thought we'll go with Jason first and then we'll go Dr. Rachel. If you could just quickly give an overview of how did you discover Clawbot? What made you want it to go out and get involved? And then just give us a little update of how you've been using it in your day to day, and then we'll dig into other things. So we'll go Jason first, and then Dr. Rachel.
Yeah, so it's for me it was kind of interesting because it brought back the ChatGPT days of a few years ago when ChatGPT came onto the scene in kind of a big way. So I'm a bit into the tech space and I follow a lot of it. And I was using AI and Airbnb early to design places and help me differentiate here in the Nashville market. And so because of that, my algorithm is tuned for tech, and all of a sudden this Claude thing began emerging. And I'm a YouTube consumer probably every night, I think. And so it's on my TV, and I saw Claudebot, I ignored it. Saw Claudebot again, ignored it, took note of it. Then I saw Claudebot again, and then I decided, what is this thing? And so once I started actually listening to people, the emphasis on this technology was greatly differentiated from everything else I've been seeing the last several years since ChatGPT. And so I relate it back to ChatGPT because everything that I've seen since then that compelled me to take the plunge and go down this path with this really kind of unproven, risky but very capable technology is that people were talking about this the same way they were talking about AI and how pivotal and impactful these two technologies will be for effectively the world. And so 3 years ago, when ChatGPT hit mainstream, everybody that I was following at the time was, highlighting how this was the greatest technology that our generation will ever see. And no one has ever said that before. So I, of course, dug into AI and I've been using it ever since to learn why they had such a perspective on that. And I felt the same way. I was getting the same impression from the tech community about Claudebot. And that's a big statement when you have generative AI hit the scene and everybody says the world will never be the same. And then you have this technology 3 years later coming out after all of the advances we've had since ChatGPT hit the market. This is the biggest splash since then, and there's people now saying that this is even the biggest invention since the internet. I heard someone say on the All In podcast the other day, which is a massive podcast with very well respected business leaders, and so I had to take a leap, had to start peeling back the layers of the onion and muddle my way through the technical setup and figure it all out.
We are definitely going to talk about the technical setup, but before we do that, Dr. Rachel, can you just again explain how you came across it, but also as well sort of explain like what it is as well? How is it different from the normal AI that we've known and loved for the last couple of years?
Yeah, and I have a couple of slides to break that down to, like how's it different and what I've identified as what to use for what specific tasks. Similar to Jason, though, I kept seeing it over and over and over again. And there was some controversy with the security of it. And then there was conversations around, hey, if you have your own separate device, like an old laptop or an old computer, you can place it on there and then you would like you serve and not have to worry so much about these security issues involved with it. And I thought to myself, I think I have an old desktop computer that I can use to try it out. And the fact that it was just so provocative and just so many controversial statements about it, I had to try it, right? Especially a normie like me, someone who has no technological background. I try to prove over and over again to the women investors, women in short-term rentals, like we can do the things that the tech brothers, love you all, can do too. I'm gonna try. I just wanted to, to wave the flag and go first and try. And I told him, bro, I'm going to try this and I'm going to let you know exactly my experience because I always want to build in public and let people know what's possible. And right now, I'm telling them just pause for now, but keep your eyes on it in the near future. So, what I felt, what drew me to it though, Mark, was I felt like it was the AI we were promised 3 years ago. Not the AI that gave me a to do list. Here are 10 ways to do it. No, no, the AI that's actually going to do it. I was like, what? Okay, so that already like it took me out. The fact that it was so proactive, like as opposed to a chat box just waiting for me to tell it what to do. Well, my AI, Nicolette, she wakes up every morning. She was like, what are we doing today, Rachel? What are the three things, right? And so I'm going to be
Mm.
fully transparent. It's not without its issues, but those two things already pulled me in. And then the third thing that pulled me in is sometimes when I'm in deep work and I'm in a big project, I feel a little bit like I'm chained to my desk. And I love my office setup, but I want to move around. And the fact that I can have my WhatsApp or Slack or Telegram and I can speak to it and it can go and retrieve files and do things, that really appealed to me as well. And so that's what kind of drew me in.
Mm. So you said you've got some slides to share. Before we do that, Jason, this is your current screen at the moment. So what are we currently looking at right now on your screen?
So this was effectively part of my evaluation to figure out, should I go down this Moltbot, Claudebot, OpenClaw rabbit hole? So this was part of my research, and I also, kind of took some liberties to, get some reps with, Notebook LM's
Mm.
infographic feature, which I've done several times, but I haven't quite customized one. And so I set out to, figure out exactly for my business and my overall life, what can Moltbot at the time, what can Moltbot do for me? And so I actually have, most of my, I would say, life lives in ChatGPT since, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked ChatGPT to break down, all the different things I'm working on, all my projects. And so within that, um, I put all that information into Notebook LM and then asked it, how can Moltbot help me in my business? And so the output of that is what I turned into the infographic. And so, I stylized it, in that, was it like 8-bit
Nice.
graphics, and I, modeled it after my office here. But it was a way for me to kind of visualize, everything that I have going on, but also visualize like how Moltbot would actually help me in my day-to-day life. And, at the end of the day, it sold a pretty good bill of goods to me.
Mm.
And this really sounds helpful in every single aspect. What I was really drawn to was, helping me to automate dynamic pricing, because sometimes I forget to go in and optimize price labs. Price labs, sometimes the pricing gets too excited or it drops the price too low. And, if you're not watching, your lead times on your conversion metrics on Airbnb, then, sometimes your pricing doesn't align with, the habits of the consumers. And so anyways, that felt like it would be a helpful piece for me, and I'm getting there, but I want to make sure my Claude bot earns that ability to have that kind of control in the business.
Mm.
But then, yeah, beyond that, you can see the different areas of the business. And it has proven out to be tremendously helpful. And I've only probably given it 25% of my operation so far.
So we're going to come back to this for sure, but Dr. Rachel, could you just share your screen? We'll go through the slides because I feel like we can have a look at this and then come back to this, because what I want to do is I want to, number one, figure out how we can use it. Now, obviously, the reason why we know each other is through the world of short-term rentals, and this is why I thought it was really cool, because I've not seen anybody yet in our sphere, so to speak, talk about how we can tap into this tool in the world of short-term rentals or whatever, right? And this is cool. But also as well, I want to like dive down to what can we expect? What do we reckon is going to come out next? The risks of this, like Dr. Rich, I just heard you say that you've mentioned to your investor group, just to pause for a wee second. So I want to go through it all. So before we go down that route, can you just walk us through what your slide you've put together? Because this is awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, so what I did was I went through about a week and a half, 2 weeks of playing around this AI. I named her Nicolette. Jason's is named Nico. And I got to tell you, I was utterly impressed and I was utterly frustrated. I'm going to tell you the whole story. So I do not come from a tech background. I'm a pharmacist by training, a real estate investor, an entrepreneur. I have short-term gems, her AI empire, and I'm always pushing the envelope to see how can we leverage the tools at our hands, such as AI, to buy back our time. And so this tool is called, as of today, February the 9th, OpenClaw. Previously, it was called ClaudeBot, but then Claude threatened litigation, Anthropic threatened litigation, politely, and then they changed to Moltbot. No one liked that, and so hence OpenClaw. And so what happened was kind of amazing and a disaster at the same time. So I want to show you all the things. Okay, 11:56 p.m. on January the 26th, I dusted off this old PC I found in my garage, actually, and I put $5 on the Anthropic API to leverage the Opus 4.5 model. Within minutes of me going back and forth with AI tools helping me to install this, I had Nicolette on my phone. And she starts off and comes online. She says, "Hey, Rachel, just came online. Let me get my bearings real quick. I have no memory files yet. I have a blank identity, but I've got the context that you gave me. I'm your ops and marketing partner for short-term gems." And then she asked, "What do I call myself?" I said, "Nicolette." She goes, "Nicolette, I like it, sharp but approachable." So I'm just giggling with the emoji, and then she ends it with a little gem throughout, and that's my branding is the gem. So I was already in love. Now I would just want to show this
Wow.
to you. For those of you who are techie, you're like, "Oh, brother, this was my first time ever using something called the terminal." I was like, "Ooh, the terminal, what is this?" So I used the terminal for the first time. Again, I'm a pharmacist, I'm not a developer, but everything is figure outable with AI. You can show a screenshot to AI and say, "What do I do with this?" And so
Yeah.
after the terminal, I have a desktop version of something that I copied and paste screenshots back and forth, something called the daemon, and it just sits there ready to go. But the most important part is the having Nicolette on your phone or having your Telegram opened up or WhatsApp or Slack or to be able to interact. So that very first night, I mean, she completed 4 projects for me. 4 projects. She audited an app for me. She found some real UI issues after my girlfriends told me this app is the best thing in the world. Nope. She found issues and they were legitimate issues and we got to fix those. She triaged tasks off of my Airtable. She proactively created a backlog for me. And while I sleep, she created all of these files on her own. On her own. And so I had workshop prep, I had CPA interview notes organized, just I was over the moon. So here's the audit of my app. The feedback that she provided were clear. She said, "You said February 28, 2025, and we're now in 2026, which was impressive because we know dates in AI are usually a little bit off." So I was really, really excited. I thought, okay, we're getting somewhere. Here's a little bit of feedback on a 90-day blueprint. Here's the Airtable that she triaged. And so I started to get really greedy. I was like, okay, now do this and do that. We're going to do this and do that. And that's when the problem started happening. That's when it broke. I started to hit what's called rate limits. And then I hit another rate limit, and then another, and then another rate limit.
I remember the day when because you came into our WhatsApp group chat and you posted about this. So talk about what a rate limit is for those that are watching this going, what's a rate limit?
Okay, so thank you for saying that because I asked Nicolette, what's a rate limit? Because here's the deal. I put in 25 more bucks. I had put $5. I put 25 more bucks and she kept saying rate limit. So I said, Nicolette, tell me like on five, what is a rate limit? And here's what she said. She said tokens are the credits like the gas fuel for your car. Rate limit is the speed you're going on the road. You keep hitting the speed limit. You're not running out of gas. You're hitting the speed limit. So maybe I was asking too many things too fast, and that is my understanding. And to be honest, I was using the most expensive model, Opus. I love Opus. Opus is just so much personality, just so nice. So I love Opus. I was using Opus for everything, like even sorting things, which you could use a simple tool like Gemini or Haiku, but I was using the most expensive model to do the smallest amount of tasks. So then I put in $25. I thought we were great. Nope, still rate limit. I would just say, hi, rate limit. So I got really frustrated. I changed from Opus and I went over to, I took a few days off. I was like, no, 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 this is not my life. Took a few days off, and then I switched to Gemini. Let's talk about Gemini. I literally got it working eventually with Gemini. But Gemini's responses would be a whole ugly wall of text. Did you see how cute Opus was? With the
Yes.
little check marks, the little emojis, the little emotions. Gemini just dry as can be, and I was not having it. So I reached out to Jason. I reached out to everyone. YouTube University, Dr. Chiugozi. Get yourself some weird friends, guys. Get yourself some friends you can reach out to. Everyone in the WhatsApp. I'm like, here's what's happening. And so I switched from Gemini to Opus, and I use Haiku, which is the cheapest model of Anthropic. I use Sonnet and 4.5. Now 4.6, I'm using 4.6 as well. So I'll reserve 4.6 for the more strategic thinking, the deep analysis, the high stakes decisions. That's what I'm reserving it for. And then I'll use the cheaper models for sorting my calendar, making sure to update, not calendar per se, we're not on a calendar basis yet, but sorting my project management tool. I'm using an Airtable base that I share with Nicolette right now. And that's what I'm using the cheaper model for. So where am I now? I'm just taking baby steps. I haven't gone so far to integrate with calendars or anything. So the computer that I'm using it on, it's sitting here. It's a whole other desktop on the side of my desk. And every single morning, Nicola asks me, what are your 3 top to-dos for today? And then she checks in on me midday to see how far I've come, gives me a little word of encouragement, checks in on me throughout the evening. So she's helping me to curb my ADHD and my shiny object syndrome because there's a lot of things that are shiny, and she helps keep me on track. Phase 2 is I really want to connect her with my Airtable and my quarterly goals and my annual goals so that we can stay on track. And then we can work on some of those things that we know are so important, but we never give really good attention to in our business, like AEO, which is like the SEO of AI. That's something that I want done. I'm exploring using other tools like Olama, Kimi 2.5, Quinn. These are models that are super cheap. They say that the Kimi, it acts like Opus, but it's super cheap and it doesn't cost much at all. And you can house it inside of your device. So I'm doing some research on that, and AI is going to help me to figure that out. And so when it comes to my different tool stack, if I need something to work on my browser, for instance, and click through my browser to update certain things, I'm still using Perplexity Comment when it comes to that type of work. If I'm looking for deep creation, I'm still using Claude and Claude Cowork and even Claude Code. When it comes to supporting my clients, I have a boatload of custom GPTs that I'm still using ChatGPT for. But here's the thing about the Nicolette that is different from those tools. There are 2 big things that I believe that are very, very different. So number 1, she proactively asks me questions every day, not just about my top 3, but other questions about other projects that I have mentioned to her in the past. And I want to train her up so that she's a little bit more proactive, and there's a way to do that. So while all the other tools, the chat tools, they're waiting for you to ask questions, she's asking me questions. And the number 2 biggest thing for me is that, again, I can be mobile. So I want to design that life that I don't need a vacation from. I love what I do, but I do need to go and get a massage or go and unwind or do something else outside of my office. And the fact that I can mobilely speak to a tool and create vibe coded apps, or have a tool create files on my computer, a PowerPoint presentation. You really can't do that with the other tools right now, not mobily as at at this point. So I think those are the two big differentiators. So I know that you're going to speak about Noah, and I love what you shared about Dharmesh Shah as well. And I'll let you speak to those two things. But I would say the big three lessons for me is find some weird friends like you.
Mm,
Because if I was just doing this alone in silo, I would have given up already. But I was pinging Jason on the side, pinging Dr. Chigozi, coming into the WhatsApp group, geeking out on AI to share my ups and downs. AI solving AI is a superpower. Just because you don't have a tech background, you can actually take a screenshot and show it to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Nicolette, and say, what does this mean? How do I fill this out? And then build in public. Be okay with letting it be messy, right? We could wait till this is perfected so that we could share with everyone, oh, here's what I set up. It's so perfect now, but I don't think it's ever going to be perfected. But every single week, it's getting better and better. And so I leave it with this. I feel like I saw the future. I actually had an AI that was very, very close to changing my whole business and very close to doing all the things for me while I slept. But I believe in a few weeks we're going to get closer and closer to that. And so that's what I have, and I can't wait for
that's
Jason to share his setup. Thank you for
yeah.
listening to my talk.
No, that was amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. Right, Jason, do you want to share your screen back again? So while we're getting Jason to share that up, I'm just trying to go back to the start. The first thing that it asked, like, what should you call me? That just reminded me so much of that movie, Her, with Scarlett Johansson and Joaquin Phoenix. That's the first thing that she asked, which is crazy, which is that. And okay, so here's a question, whether you can answer or maybe Jason can answer this bit. But you said that you ran out of credits and you went from using Claude to something else. How do you actually make those amendments? Do you tell Nicolette, or do you got to go into something to change those settings? Like, how do you do that? How can you change from one tool to the LLM to the other?
Yeah, so during the onboarding process inside of the terminal, there are a set of questions where you are asked which tool you want to use. You could do it in there. You can ask it to Nicolette if she has no familiarity with the fact that Gemini is on board. It just means you didn't toggle it on.
Right.
So once you toggle all of the tools that you want to be turned on, then you can let her know about the model switching. This is something that Jason and we had some conversations around, but I think he has solved it. So he can probably speak to that. The second part of the onboarding, it asks you to toggle on different skills. I didn't do that just because, again, I wasn't too sure about the security. And if something were to happen, I wouldn't know how to get myself out of a pinch. So I'm gingerly taking my time with adding on different things. And I just look forward to the day. Imagine one of my doctors, Mark, at the hospital, and they want to change their pricing. And they say, hey, Nico, hey, Nicolette, can you block the calendar for such and such on my, you know, Airbnb property, Flirty Flamingo, and then go ahead and also update the pricing. So that's what I envision the use case to be. And that's what's kind of true north for me. But for now, it's just the baby steps to get, to the next step. Maybe that's phase 3 or phase 4.
I like it. Thank you so much for that, Jason. So I'm going to move to you. So first and foremost, answer the question that I get so much in my inbox. Why do you need another computer? Why do you need like an old Mac Mini? Why do you need that? Why are you putting it on another computer and you're not doing it on your main one?
Because it's like releasing a tiger into your house if you don't. So you rather keep it pinned up in the back, where it can be controlled and contained and used in the ways you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's you don't want to let it loose inside your computer because it can be tricked. So there's something called prompt injection. That's one way of hacking an AI. Is if your AI has access to your email, even if it's just read-only access, a bad actor could send you an email with text that's hidden in that email. Like say the text is the same color as the background. So we might not be able to see it, but the AI can read it and it can deliver a message that tricks the AI into giving that person private information. So
And
credentials,
that's
API keys, credit card information, any other logins, things of that nature.
so. Hang on a second. So if you've got anything connected with an API connectors on any of these bots, not even talking about OpenClaw here, if you've given your email read access, they can still get in through that route if it's reading emails.
That's my understanding. Yes, and I'll caveat it by saying that I'm not a security expert. So
Yeah.
just
Okay. Well,
yeah,
y-
only I know what I've learned in the past week on probably uh, 25 hours of YouTube and however many hours of reading.
wow.
So yeah, I'm new to the space as well. I'm a tech guy, but I'm not a developer. More on the consumer side. But yeah, you don't want the chatbot or the Claude bot um, to go into your files, make changes. Like if it had access root system access, which it does, if you install it on like a virtual system, it has root access. If you install it on your home computer, it has root access, and that's like the core of your system. That's
Okay.
like it's like letting the bot down into the engine room of
Yeah.
the you know.
So you set up another laptop, a separate laptop, and on that laptop, what is on there? Like, what do you actually have on that laptop? What are you giving it access to?
I actually have mine set up on a VPS, which is a virtual private server. So I basically log in through a website, and so that way, I don't have a computer here. I don't have to have a computer here running the whole time.
Okay.
It's in the cloud and it's running all the time, and I pay like $6 to $10 a month, something like that, for this VPS. And so I don't have a desktop to even manage. I only interface with Nico through Telegram.
Okay. So this is really good because Dr. Rachel, you've gone hardware.
Yeah.
Jason, you've gone server. So you're in the cloud.
I
So
tried the software first and I couldn't crack it.
okay.
Mm.
So I think the software might need a little bit more of a technology acumen. The hardware is very easy to set up, but the software, man, I couldn't do it. I bought a subscription with AWS. I'm going to ask for a lot of refunds by trying to get it onto the VPS, which is what Jason was able to crack, VPS virtual private server. So I couldn't crack it.
So Jason, you did crack it. So again, pros and cons. Of cons, I guess it's hard to get set up, but once you set up, like like you said, you managed to get this virtual server. So how are you using it? Like, how are you sort of? So what was your first steps? Like, obviously, you named yours Nico, your little bot.
I
So
did actually once I got it up and running. It was all a bit of a blur, to be honest, because I was late into the night and wasn't working on much sleep with a lot of this stuff. But I do know that when I got it running, it sent me that first welcome message that Rachel got. Um, let's see, what did it say? Yeah, I'm a new AI. It's asking me some. Let's see. It says, "Hey, I just came online, fresh out of the box. No memories, no name, nothing yet. So, who are you, and who should I be? I need a few things to get me started. A name. What do you want to call me? A vibe. Should I be chill, sharp, weird, professional, chaotic? An emoji. Every good AI needs a signature. And tell me about yourself too, what you're into, and how this will work. Let's figure it out together." Like that's the opening message, straight out of the box from the bot. And for me, I'm like a AI maxi, so I was tired and I didn't want to go through that. I just wanted to set it up, so I just copy and pasted that into ChatGPT, and I said, "Hey, I just set this up. You know everything about me, so answer these questions for me." And then so it did that, and I pasted it back into the other bot, so into my
bots
Claude bot.
talking. Bots are training bots right now. So
Yeah,
bots.
there's a whole lot of copy and paste going on between this setup and you're going from one AI to the other. I did the same thing that Rachel did.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a back end tech guy. I'm more, front end consumer, but a lot of copy and pasting. But what was interesting, really interesting, is when I pasted, those questions into ChatGPT. I said, I'm setting up a new AI. It asked me some questions. Um, it's asking some questions to me. You know me very well, so I need you to answer them for me. So I put all that in there, including the message that the AI wanted to know. And oddly enough, a few days prior, when Rachel said that she named her chatbot Nicolette, I was like, I wonder what I would name mine. Thought about it for a minute. I was like, honestly, I kind of like Nico, and I think I got that from I was in Greece this past summer. Anyways, there's a guy named Nico. I think that was like in my head, and I was like, it's quick, it's easy, it's 2 syllables, whatever, snappy. Didn't even really think about Rachel's. Actually, I know I didn't think about Rachel's. It wasn't until after. But then I never told anybody about that because I didn't even really think about it again. But ChatGPT, because it knows everything about me, I guess, when it answered all these questions, including like what do you want to call me, it chose the name Nico, and I've never even said that name. Like I don't. I don't even have a Nico in my contacts. Like I met a guy in Nico like one day, and never told anybody about it. It's not. There's nothing that it could have drawn from. So that was really interesting. But after that, it fully answered all the questions, and I went through setup. But that was how I originally got started. With my CloudBot Nico.
All right, well, let's have a look at slide number 2. I can see you've got a couple of slides on the right there. So this is obviously how you hired an AI chief of staff. So runs on $6 a month server, which is one of the questions that has come in live. What's the fastest, easiest way to get set up? This is pretty cheap, $6 a month, right? So compared to
yeah. So I was going to ask you which direction you wanted to go, but I do have some slides together. Coincidentally, again, I'll call myself an AI maxi, if that's even a term. But I just asked Nico to prepare for this live stream. I said, Nico, I'm going on this live stream to talk about CloudBot. Give me 5 topics to talk about based on all of our work together. I was like, it's primarily a short-term rental audience, so maybe it'll lean that way. And so all this information comes from effectively Nico. I took that and put it into Notebook LM, and Notebook LM built these slides.
Oh, well, thank you, Nico. All right, let's have a wee look then. What are we looking at then?
So, yeah, for sure, hired an AI chief of staff. I definitely feel like I'm no longer working as a solopreneur. I mean, I am, but I have the capabilities now of having somewhat of a team, and that's really what it feels like. Because a lot of the barriers that I have to face on my own and figure out how to get around on my own, I no longer have to face. I'm not relegated to my own will and resolve. So Nico's always got an answer for what to do next and how to do it. So we're running on a $6 a month server, and I wanted to get Nico set up with AI or with Airbnb, at least on a read-only access, so that Nico could monitor the guest messages coming in and help be another wall of defenses from me missing, like, say, a booking inquiry, or if somebody had an issue at a property, if it was an emergency or if they couldn't get in, maybe the key valve was locked, or the battery was dead. Anything urgent that needed to be elevated to me directly, Nico can do that now. So that's strictly written into the rules for Nico when it comes to managing the Airbnb side of the business. So I gave it read access to an Airbnb only email, and it has a few different exceptions that allow it to message me directly. Otherwise, it sends me an Airbnb update every morning at 7:30. So
okay, let's dive into this a bit, because we have got questions of how can I use this with my Airbnb operations. So you have an Airbnb specific email comes into your server, right? It reads that email and it has a rule set on if this happens, then do that. Is that right? How does that sort of work on like a fundamental level?
Yes, basically, it's not so much with AI is or can be qualitative conversation. It's not so much as strict as IFTTT rules, but I do tell it that I want to be updated on, at least in the mornings, do we have any check-ins or check-outs? Are there any new booking inquiries? If those take a priority, so mark those as urgent and send those to me immediately. Did we add any bookings this week versus last week? And I think there's one or two other important things that I hadn't put in there. But the biggest thing was most of it comes through in a scheduled message to me every morning, but I gave it those exceptions for any sense of urgency around booking inquiries, any emergency on the property. And also I have it building out an automatic task list for any message that a guest sends that says something's broken or something that needs attention. It is now building out an automatic to-do list.
So here's a question. Which PMS are you using?
Hospitable.
Yeah, I thought you were. So
Yes.
here's my sort of question here is, doesn't Hospitable do that for you? Do you need this bot to do that, or can Hospitable do that already with the tools that they've got?
Hospitable does not do the tasks. They do have an automated response feature now, but you have to upgrade to their mobile plan. And so that's kind of how they have these features, gate kept. It's more of a gated unlock. And so if you don't level up your monthly subscription, then you're not getting access to them. And for me, I think the math works out to something like I'd pay an extra $100 or $120 a month for automatic messaging, and that's it.
So technically, have you built that with this ish? Have you built that with you built that version? So you've been able to save us money and just pay $6 a month, and you built
Correct,
that with.
Yep. I haven't given it respond access or abilities yet because I'm trying to just, that's giving it keys to the castle, right? So you want to be careful, but that probably will come in some form of a test in the not too distant future. But because Opus is a really good personality, it's great at communicating. And
just very quickly, you've mentioned Opus. Dr. Rachel's mentioned Opus. For somebody who's watching who doesn't know what Opus means, what is Opus?
So Opus is one of the large language models. So you have ChatGPT, I think the default is 5.2. That's the model. And so Opus is currently it's on 4.6 now. So when those companies update their models, they release these new capabilities. Sometimes it's a tweak to the personality and new capabilities they can perform. And almost every time, well, if not every time, there's always a boost in intelligence in a lot of different areas. But I think primarily right now, Opus is the best at intelligence and personality. So if you're looking at a chart, it's like at the top right of the personality and intelligence.
And that's come, obviously you've got Google Gemini in there, you've got all these other large language models that are out there at the moment. Opus 4.6 from Claude and Anthropic is like the best for what we're talking about here with is like this use case of like personality, chatting, intelligence.
Correct. Yeah. So it's a lot of times people will refer to it as the brain. And so you have your, I think Rachel touched on it a little while ago about how she's routing her models. But a lot of people, in order to mitigate costs and avoid hitting rate limits, you can, instead of using Opus for everything, like Opus 4.5 for everything, you don't necessarily need the CEO doing every task within the business, right? So you kind of take the same hierarchical structure within your model setup. So you'll run Opus as the brain, and then Opus will determine what needs to be done and then delegate out to these lower cost but fully capable for the need models. So
okay, that is pretty amazing. So that's use case number one. I'm fascinated. So obviously you've got it on read only. There will become a day where you're going to test it to let it respond and do all of the things. I'm intrigued to find out what other technology you have created with this tool. Seeing that you've already created a PMS. So, what what's number 3 on the list? On the
Well,
on the
yeah, it will have Price Labs access here soon. Um,
Okay.
so maybe dynamic pricing management is the next one.
Ooh.
Um, but that one again, keys to the castle. So I'm going to be careful with that. But that's a big one. I mean, sometimes these models, like Price Labs, from my view, appears to be strictly a rule based, intelligence, if you will. I wouldn't even really call it an intelligence. It's just a lot of rule based settings stacked on top of each other,
Yeah.
which also makes it kind of difficult to run. I used to be rather knowledgeable on Price Labs, but it's got to be so convoluted with settings that stack on top of each other. Trying to figure out which one of the settings is causing the blowout in price or the incorrect response in price. I find it to be pretty difficult at this point. So I would like to simplify that for sure. And,
How are
and get
you how are you using it at the moment then for Price Lab? Seeing that you've got it on read only, how are you using this
it's not
Nico?
on. I don't have it on Price Labs read only yet. It's not even. I haven't even
Oh, okay.
pointed it that way yet. But that's next on the list for short term rentals for sure.
So are you using any other thing at the moment in short-term rentals world? I've seen here Spy analyzes competitors. Like what we've got going on there on this one?
So that was Nico did an analysis. I gave it my listings, and then it started doing an analysis of some of the listings in my portfolio, and it showed that there was almost an exact listing to mine in the building, and it said, "Hey, you got direct competition, so we need to tighten up the ship with your listing." And so this is the instant inquiry, never miss a booking. So we talked about that. So the reason this is relevant for me, surely it's relevant for somebody else, but if I go to the gym, I go on effectively strict do not disturb. My phone is geolocated to the gym, and so it turns on do not disturb, just because that's one place where I just kind of have to stay locked in. And Telegram is what I communicate through to my chatbot, and so I have Telegram whitelisted, so it allows me to still get messages from Nico, even though I'm on Do Not Disturb from basically everything else, and because I don't want to get interrupted at the gym for 99 times out of 100, a guest is just saying like, "Hey, we're in, thank you so much."
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, I need all the focus I can get because I'm ADD. So, so there's a slide in here somewhere. Where is the? Oh, here it is. This is the one analyzed my competition. So, it took a look at my portfolio, at least at this one listing that we're talking about, and it realized that there's other competitors nearby. One specifically that looked just like mine, and then it made the suggestions make suggestions to me to update several aspects of my listing, including the title. And this is kind of a neat representation of that. But optimizing the title for communicating like important and value adding features and aspects of the property versus what it was prior.
So, and then obviously it won't update it for you because you're not giving it read access,
It
write access.
won't.
Sorry.
It won't, but comment will.
Yes, it will. So you just basically paste that into comment and go, right, go and do this for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So for those who don't know what comment is, just explain to everybody what comment is, because we're throwing all these words and tools to people.
Perplexity Comet is it's a new browser that's effectively it's a AI first browser, and so it allows you to ask for AI's help to do something for you. So the AI, if you're on a website, it will fill out forms for you, it will browse for you, it will research for you. If you're on Amazon, you can ask it to find products that are similar to this one that are cheaper and maybe better rated. and search the reviews of all those products. Give you a report on which one's the best value. You can have it stratified into highest cost, highest value, lowest cost, highest value, the whole nine.
It's pretty amazing. It's only $20 a month. So I don't use OpenClaw yet. I use Comet and Perplexity Comet every day, like all the time, to the point where I've now upgraded all of our 20 members of staff at Boostly, and we've all got the pro plans now. Like we're all using it just because I can see how powerful it is. So Perplexity and Comet isn't a model in itself, right? Because it uses Google Gemini, ChatGPT, it uses Anthropic, and it just picks the best model for the task that you're asking it to do. Is that right from how you perceive it, both of you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then it will go and do the task for you. So Nico comes to you and goes, right, Jason, this is what we need to do. You go, brilliant. Cheers, Nico. Comet, go and do this. So, right, is that basically...
The reason I don't do those tasks is because it really does not fill my cup in any way. It is such a tax to me. It's just not fun. It's administrative. It's not copy and pasting text into something. Is like, I don't know. There's nothing about it that satiates my ADHD brain.
So forever, like for years, we've been told, right, as we go to all these conferences and these events and we read all these books, and you get told, listen, you've got to focus on the tasks that are going to move the needle. And you've always gone, well, that's fair enough, but who's going to do this? Now there's no excuse with that. You can literally just go do that. Right, I'm going to go focus on what's going to move the needle here. Is there anything else on your slides here before we go back to Dr. Rachel? Anything else you'd like to say? Because we have got a good question that I want to throw to Dr. Rachel, but I'll also throw it to Jason afterwards. But before we do that, is there any other interesting slides on here? I saw something about StayFi. Was that on one of the slides prior?
It may have been. Let's see. But there's one about working on my behalf at night, and then the next one's mission control, which takes us off of Airbnb. But
okay.
I think the mission control one, I'm excited about that. That's next on my to-do list. So I think the audience would appreciate what mission control looks like.
All right, let's do mission control. Then we'll do the question. Then we'll do any final things, and then we'll call it a wrap because my brain is absolutely buzzing, and there's a lot of people in the chat who are saying this is crazy. So let's do mission control first.
All right. Well, we'll have to come back to this one because this one's important.
Okay, we'll do this first, then mission control. Go on then.
Okay. So this is my StayFi guest list, all my contacts. And so I connected StayFi to Nico, or actually that's the only website that I gave Nico access, like my actual logins instead of an API key. I've since changed that login, but it went and pulled the contact list. And so as I slept, it extracted all the contacts and put it into a format that it can manage. And I gave it, I set up an account on a site that it saw called Brevo, Brevo.
Yeah.
It's like an email marketing website. And so now Nico has access to Brevo and has already drafted up 2 newsletters. So it did that overnight. That was part of the overnight task. It pulled all these contacts out, sent it all over to Brevo, drafted up 2 newsletters. And so they're waiting for my review now.
When you say tasks, are you telling it to do this, or is it gone, oh, I need to do this?
It's a mix. It's very much a mix. I would say it's probably 60-40, maybe 70-30, me to it. In terms of my defined task versus its proactively defined tasks.
So when you go, just before you go to bed, you're on Telegram, hey, Nico, I'm going to go to sleep. Overnight, I want for you to go on StayFi, extract all my contacts and put together an email list, an email campaign that I'm going to send. Is that how it generally sort of vibes and works out, or do you go in a bit more detail on the prompt?
It's as simple as that, but as long as you have the connection set up, like it still needed me to give it access to the Brevo account.
Yeah. You had to sign up to the account and whatnot.
Right, but now we're set up from here on out. It's as simple as me sending that message from bed, and then it can draft up a specific newsletter with a specific theme and a specific strategy, and I can even say, hey, come up with 5 different ones that are would be effective for booking in the spring in Nashville and include the events, some of the key events that are happening between now and May.
Ooh. Because my experience with AI is that you have to give it a really good prompt for it to be able to get close to what you're wanting it to do. And you normally have to use prompt engineer on ChatGPT to get there. But by the sounds of this, with this what we're talking about, you can just open up your phone. Do you voice note at all, or does it have to be text?
No, you can do either one.
Oh my gosh! So you can just
Mine,
go,
so
hey,
mine actually figured out. It didn't know how to understand voice at first,
yeah,
and it said that it told me that, and I said, "Well, figure it out." And then it says, "Okay," and it went around and it used like 3 or 4 different tools it found on the internet to convert it into text, and then download it
wow.
and then upload it. Then it responded back. So it can be very proactive and very solution minded.
Because I'm sure I saw her on Twitter that Eleven's Lab have set up a connection now with OpenClaw, right?
Yeah.
Is that, oof, that's crazy. So this is how we get closer to her. I keep saying her is where we're going to end up this movie. This is what this is
We're
where we're
not
getting to.
we're
Right.
not far from that whatsoever.
We are not far. Okay, so mission control, and then we're
Yes.
going to go to this question.
So when you bring on a Claude bot, it's a bit of a force multiplier, and I for one have had, I think, issues keeping everything that I'm involved in. Remembering that infographic with all the 4 ventures that I have, keeping everything straight. And sometimes I want to write it down, but then other times I want to put it in my phone, and then it's like, well, now it's in 2 different places, and now I don't have a habit, one that I can follow reliably. So I asked Nico to just build me a task board effectively to help me organize all the things that we're working on. And so I would say 80% of this is like, the whole vibe of this was like first try right off the rip. And that was like within a couple minutes of asking. Since then, I've been building it out, working on the last 20% by putting my own spin on it. But one of the big things here was, for me, gamifying productivity. And I'm also thinking, like, at scale as well. Would somebody else find this valuable? But if I complete a task that has a medium or high priority, then I get more points than if I complete a task with low priority. And if I complete one with high urgency, then I get the most points. And so these are things like, an urgent task would be research the market and buy the dip. If you keep an eye on the stock market these days, like, it has been down significantly. And so there's a window of opportunity here, and it knows that it's urgent. And this is, you can see the user interface too on this, that it's like, it's pretty nice.
So you've basically created an Asana or a Monday.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
So not only have you gone and created a feature on Hospitable and created your own PMS, you're about to go, you've created your own version of Monday.com. So at what point
I saw his, I took a screenshot and I threw it into my vibe coded. I said, I want this.
Oh,
and I created my own mission control as well. Yes.
So Nicolette has gone and created its own mission control while we've been talking.
Well, this was a little earlier because I was messaging with Jason when I asked him about it. Yeah.
Wow. And so to update this, you are literally just telegramming to say, do this. And then it goes, right, here's your link, come and check it. And you've just got this link to check wherever you want.
Correct. Yeah. And I actually had a domain. Oh, well, that takes me to the other thing. So there's a lot that's happened over the past week.
Just like, I think the moral of this story is do not take a week off. Do not go on holiday. Just do not switch off, because if you come back in a week's time, who knows what will happen? So
this is an example. It's a relevant example, but it's also, shameless plug. But so there's an app that I've been building that I used AI to build, right? Of course. On the back burner I had was building a wait list, And I even tried that with Gemini, and I had trouble getting it actually live because I don't know anything about websites. Like that's your world, right? But I had something that was visual and I could see it, but it didn't live anywhere. It wasn't hosted anywhere. I had no domain, and so Nico knew that, and it said, "Well, we can do the website right now." And I was like, "Well, it's like midnight. I don't really want to do that." I was like, "But it made it sound so simple." It's like just go over here and like grab this domain. It's like dineiq.app is available, and it's $12 on Namecheap, and it sent me the hyperlink. It's like just made it so easy. It's like just sign up real quick and send me the credentials. It'll take you 2 minutes, is what it says. And so I did that. It maybe took me five, but I sent him the credentials. He's like, I'll take care of everything else. So I sent him the credentials and 5 screenshots of the app that I built, and then it built me the site, and it had it posted and hosted live within a matter of minutes. And
so apparently I don't. Apparently I don't do websites anymore now. So.
Well, I mean that's what mission control is, right? That's the same thing.
Yeah, man. That's funny.
But then, I mean,
well
you can
done.
even see, the finesse of like the phone's opening into, this.
Yeah, amazing.
It's
Amazing.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, man. So insane. This is in a week. I just can't get over this. Like, Dr. Rachel, okay, throwing it open to you. What questions do you have? What do you have to add to this? Because this is kind of crazy, right?
It is. And it's ever evolving. I would say anyone who's looking right now and they're like, okay, I don't know when I'm going to catch up. I would just say it's just take baby steps. I'm going, in my own pace, in my own phase, because by the time next week happens, some of the little bottlenecks and roadblocks that I may have faced, you're not going to face it. Everything that I've just shared today is going to be obsolete because they've done a better job. The gentleman that created this, and it's open source. He now has an army of developers that have jumped on the bandwagon because they want to be a part of it as well. So baby steps, but this train is moving. Jump on.
The train is moving. Jump on. All right. The question was basically, how can you measure accountability, i.e., how do you ensure it does what you ask it to do before your brain moves on to the next task? Mission control is literally that, is the answer to that question, which is phenomenal.
It's really nice. I'll say one thing that I added here. Well, two things. For one, I was like, I want to screenshot this, but I want to share I have some financials in here. And I said, create a button that allows me to hide anything sensitive. And so I sent it that, and then within like 30 seconds, it's like, okay, done. And now I have this button at the top that hides like any numbers you see, if they're even on here.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So like here, it hid those numbers and it put those little dots. But I have some other investment numbers and so forth. It's like I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to share that to the world.
Yeah.
The people that are watching, which is absolutely understandable. All right, so this is where the question lies to people that are tuning in live or on the replay. How deep are you into OpenClaw, Moltbot, whatever you want to call it? What are you using? There's a question here from Clive. Are you guys running on Opus? Yes, we're using Opus as the model, but it obviously has different versions depending on the task, which is what Rachel talked about earlier. This is definitely going to be one of those watch two podcasts. You're going to need to go back and just figure it out. And I really hope that you watch it within a week, because within a week it could all be changed. So here's my final question, and we'll go Dr. Rachel, then Jason. Now, this chap in Europe has created OpenClaw within a couple of weeks and posted it out, and everyone's using it. You've currently got Sam Altman at OpenAI, you've got the Anthropic team, you've got Google, you've got Apple, you've got Meta, you've got all of these people that are watching. What do you think their move is going to be next? If you could like mystic ball it and sort of plan what do you think their move's going to be next? We'll go Rachel and Jason.
Yeah, I think about this all the time because we are very familiar. I live in ChatGPT. I live in Claude. I think that it would be foolish not to go all in on this proactive agentic AI tool, because the thirst is real. If you haven't heard about OpenClaw, you must be living under a rock, because the thirst is real. So I think the next move is for them to rally around this project, create their own, add all of the security features so that we can then use a tool that we're very familiar with, that we normies are not afraid to put in our credentials. My credentials are already in Google Drive, and I've plugged into all the things, ChatGPT and Anthropic. So I think that's the next big move, is to create this on their platforms where we feel like there's a little bit more of safety and security in place.
Jason?
Yeah, I think it presents a bit of a challenge for the big hyperscalers. This certainly sent a message to all the Goliaths of the industry. Because this is literally, almost literally, a David that is putting their business on notice. His name was Peter, but might as well have been David.
Yeah.
And the issue with that, the reason that they haven't done this yet to begin with, is because of liability and because of responsible use restrictions. And AI is a dangerous thing if you don't give it any boundaries and you don't put any shackles on it. And that's why these AIs to date have lived within the little containers that they live within. They can only do so many things. And like, I can't even get my AI, whether it be ChatGPT's agent or Perplexity or even Claude's agent on a web page, to enter in credit card information for me, because they don't allow it to do that type of thing because of liability, again, associated with that. And the hell that will probably unleash on all the credit card companies with refunds and who knows what else.
Yeah.
But so that is a real challenge, I think, that they have to contend with. But I think that to Rachel's point, that they are going to need to, or figure out how to leverage an open source model to create a space for their bigger more commercial products. But I can tell you what, where they're going to go, I don't know. But at the end of the day, what's going to move forward is software that provides real value, not just puts lipstick on data. And that's what you see here, this mission control. That's why the software industry, software as a service, has struggled so bad the past couple of weeks. It's lost $1 trillion in market cap. And it's because of people like Rachel and I, and probably a million other people now, just creating whatever it is that we need in what's going to surface as on-demand software.
On-demand software. Fascinating stuff. Listen, you two, appreciate it. Obviously, we've got our WhatsApp group, so I look forward to seeing updates in there. If you want to be part of the WhatsApp group, if you've tuned in this far and you're not in it, send me a message on Instagram or wherever and just say, hey, can I be part of WhatsApp? And we'll get you in there. But fascinating. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing what you create next. Just don't make it be a website business, please, Jason.
I pity you, friend. No.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Rachel, Jason, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch you all again very soon. Cheers now.
Thanks for having us.